Here are some first impressions of Virtuosa, a new character in For Honor as a historical fencer. Starting off with the look. I think they've done a good job here creating a fun, fictionalized version of a 16th century soldier. And I always love to see a cuirass with some tassets. I especially like the detail that she seems to have absconded with a warden's heart shield at some point. And she has a sash. I love sashes. But what really stuck out to me was that she actually has a sword belt, which is kind of uncommon in that game. A lot of their swords just get magnetically attached to them somehow, but hers actually goes into a frog and suspends from it. If only she actually had a scabbard too, we'd be set. Her default rapier is really weird though. For one, the swept portion of her hilt actually starts below the cross in a way where she couldn't actually put her finger over the cross if she wanted to. She has this complete disconnect between the cross and the ports and the swept portion of her hilt. They're just two completely different pieces and they don't go together at all. And her handle is also really long, like a hand and a half sword kind of long. I have no idea why it's this long. And this is the same on all of her swords. I assume it's for some sort of gameplay need, but I have no idea what that would be. And one last detail that's just weird, not really a big deal, but weird, is that she has no knuckle bow. The branches sweep down from either side, but there is no central knuckle bow for them to connect to. It's just weird. Part 2, the guards. First, it's worth noting that she holds her rapier strictly from the grip, no finger over the guard like you see in most rapier systems. But I do just mean most. There are rapier systems that do hold the sword below the cross. Moving on to her guards, of which she actually has 2 sets. The default guards are all quite good. I especially like that on her right guard, she actually turns her hand out, bringing the quillon and the knuckle bow out to where it better protects the limb. Her high guard has an interesting detail of her rear hand being hooked in. A raised hand is nothing out of the ordinary, but as soon as it starts to hook in like that, that is a posture I strongly associate with more modern sources. But it could just be a gap in my own study. Maybe there is a Renaissance source that hooks it in like that. Her secondary guards are where it gets a little bit spicier. This is her at her full gloat, so I think she can just kind of get away with whatever she wants here. I mean, one of her guards is she just stands here completely open. She's trying to bait people into attack her. The idea is that she's supposed to look tempting to hit. But there's one in particular, though, that I really want to comment on, and that is her left alternate posture, the one where she's got her sword pointed forward behind her back. This is actually one of my favorite thrusts. I really like this position, but it has a very specific use case, which is not what she's doing here. But I should note she will actually complete it as a thrust on some of her counter animations as well as an execution. It's just that holding it as a posture is kind of counterproductive. This thrust kind of works because your sword disappears behind your back and reappears on a low line where they're not expecting it. Showing them where it is just kind of defeats the point. The most gamified quality about her is how her different postures all imbue her next attack with different status effects. But there might have been some inspiration from how some guards are considered to be more offensively imbued, while others are more defensively imbued, and you kind of transition between offense and defense as you attack, which conceptually would well align with how she's meant to be played. Part 3, the attacks. They sprinkle in some historical inspiration here and there, but it's For Honor. It's largely a matter of vibes more than authenticity, but there are still some historically inspired morsels that are worth commenting on. I particularly like this one where she gets a distinct placement of the blade and then draws it in a slice. She has one of my all-time favorite thrusts where you pass the sword behind your back and come up from below. I covered this in the previous video, but again, I just really like this attack. She's just missing the grappling component that sets it up. I think I might have seen a Pasada Soto somewhere in her moveset, but it was really fast and I'm not sure. I love all the feints she has, especially how all of her chained heavy attacks can be feinted into another quarter. Striking with the guard is always fun to see. She also has another hilt strike where she flips the sword around and strikes with it one-handed by the blade. This sort of strike comes up, a lot of you know it as the Mordhau. Its viability with a rapier is going to depend heavily on the blade profile. Trying it with something as thin as this just isn't going to pan out the way you want it to. I think she's a really cool character, and if I still had PS Plus, I'd probably pick her up. So can we work on getting cross-save next, please? Thanks.